Okay. Hopefully this is on and working. This is my first time doing this over on Instagram, so I hope you guys enjoy. All right, cool. Because we got a couple of people hopping in then, so I definitely know I'm live. Just let me know if you guys can hear me okay and if I'm coming in all right. Because then I'll get started and we can get this little event underway. I tested out a bunch of these things last night just to be sure too. And I know that the delay time is a little bit longer on Instagram. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, basically, I'm just going to start by saying this is my turn doing the WIN Takeover for the month. I was asked to speak on a few topics related to this. So, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Tony, but everybody calls me Shade. I am a freelance artist and graphic designer, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself and maybe give you guys a little bit of insight and updates on, what I can help you all with from my perspective and my specific field of work. So, I guess I'll start by saying I've been, interested in creative works and art or graphic design, illustration, pretty much since I was a young child. As I got older, by the time I hit about age 15, I had gotten to a point where I had spent a lot more time homeschooled. This was due to challenges with my health issues and even some issues related to, at the time, severe bullying. I apologize if this gets a little bit heavy in some parts, but I do want to be authentic and share my journey with everyone. So, I have a lot of health issues, and the bullying was something that I was then removed from school. And then by the time age 15, I started getting heavy into things like animation. And when I was working on animation, eventually I did that for a few years, got to about the ages of 20, or 19, I should say, and started to get more interested in writing song lyrics and particularly illustration. I wanted to tell stories with my artwork. I have studied a couple of small degrees, but I've been mostly just a few month courses, say like a certificate or a career diploma, and one of those was in graphic design. At the time, I didn't quite know just how technical and even more business-like graphic design is. It's not to say that graphic design does not have creative works or, is not creative the way, standard illustration or other types of art is. But I would say when it comes to graphic design, I quickly learned it was more about the technical side of things, like margins, printing, measurements, proximity. This is definitely a skill that I have under my belt and I'm very comfortable with. I've done a lot of work over the years for logos for people's designs, for companies and business and small things. Being freelance, it's been a lot of commission work. And I have also done many book covers. Now, the book covers, I'd say, is one of those things that treads the line back and forth between that of, the really artistic and creative side versus the more creative technical side, being that of graphic design versus, what I consider, the more passionate forms of art. So, with that being said, I figured I might show you guys a few examples of things that I have done because I'm actually streaming this from my PC. I was very eager to share things from the PC because considering most of what I do is very visual, I would not be able to share as effectively if I was doing this via just from the mobile app. So I'm very thankful that Instagram has this option in order to actually share this work this way with you guys so you can get a better idea of who I am and what I do. And I'm very much thankful to the WIN community for actually asking me and encouraging me to do this. I gotta say this is a great community for the short time that I have been involved in it and been a part of it. And I am hoping to get a bit more involved as well and just maybe expose a few extra things to this community that they might not be familiar to, because this is only the first half of what I am and what I do, or who I am, I should even say, that I'm going to be sharing with all of you today. And I hope to impart some advice or wisdom for people who might need to know some things. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide my face for a minute because I'm going to show up some artwork and other things on the screen that I think will be much more representative of what I do. No, definitely Soda. I'm happy to have that as well. It's always good to have more artists around and more people to speak to. So thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to show here. Actually, which one? You know what? We'll start with the logos because I feel the logos are a bit more of a simple explanation to start to get our feet wet. So I'm going to shrink this down a little bit because this is not quite displaying in the manner I wish it to. So if we look here, this was a logo that I had designed for my sister, for Sarah Curcio. A lot of you people might be familiar with Sarah. She's been a very active member in the WIN community. This is a logo that she's used on her business cards and a bunch of other different things. So that's just something I want to provide there. I may have to readjust the size, a few things here and there, because I'm used to working more with a landscape screen, whereas Instagram obviously uses more the vertical aspect of, 1080 by 1920 as opposed to the reverse. So this is going to require some adjusting here. So hopefully you guys can bear with me on that. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you do. Like she's definitely great, and I love her as my sister, and I respect her for the brilliant businesswoman that she is as well. So that would be one of the first things. I did the logo for her. Another example of something that I did would be, this is a logo that I designed for myself. I use this on all of my artworks, any of my drawings. You can find a good collection of my drawings over on Instagram as well, on my profile page on, I believe it's on True Shade Falcon. That will probably be linked in the description afterwards once this video is live. I see that things get archived afterwards, so we'll have to see how that properly gets shared. But yeah, this is just something that I've done for my logo, and it basically just takes from my namesake of being Shade Falcon. This was the second logo I ever designed for myself, much more modern, a bit more sleek. And I would say when it comes to logos, for those who might not be familiar, if I can impart a piece of advice, you want to keep things simple. Now, granted, I have a tendency to have a harder time doing that with what you see on the screen here. This is not the most simple logo, as you can see, but what keeps it simple enough is that it is just one color, and it follows more the coloring to tell the story and to shape things out for you. Similarly to what I did for my sisters as well. Thank you, Soda. I appreciate the compliment. So I'm just going to say for logos, you want to keep things very simple. You want to keep things clean. You want it to be something that is recognizable and consistent. I have such a hard time with simplifying my logos. No, I feel that completely, Soda. I know you are an artist as well, and I think that when we're more focused on the illustrative works rather than the more streamlined business side of things, it can be a little bit taxing to actually get a handle on this. So I would say, yeah, simple is it's kind of like the phrase KISS, keep it simple, stupid, as they say. So that's basically the best advice to go for logos. But now, something that bleeds the lines, I feel, between both areas is, let's take a look at something like a book cover. Now, my friend Brittany, as you can see, her name will be in the corner there, Brittany Lepore. I love her to death. She's like a little sister to me. I have done several books for her. She's written at least 2 poetry books, and she started writing a fantasy series as well. I've done all 3 of these covers, and I will plan on doing the next book cover for her shortly, of her second book in her series, which is called Dreams Do Come True. Very reminiscent of Narnia. So if something like that appeals to you, maybe check out my sis Brittany Lepore as well. Little shout out there. She's also been a part of the WIN group as well and come to some meetings with us. So the best advice I'd give for covers is, you need to know right off the bat what the dimensions are of your cover. Now, for my friend Brittany, it was a little bit more simple because she's been using Amazon Kindle. And in using Amazon Kindle, there are very specific dimensions that are used for the book covers and everything. So you're going to have to work with, make sure whatever you're doing has enough space in the margins on the tops and the sides that if there is a little bit of bleed and there's a little room to get something cut off or properly cropped. and that will help you to more properly convey and get a better headspace idea before you start drawing of what you need to do with the cover and what should be shown, where the eye should be drawn. Think very much composition shots. It might be something that even non-artists might be used to. Say if you're looking at a photograph, think about where your eyes are drawn, and it's probably where the artist intended to do that. A little bit of methodical thought ahead of time. No, I understand that person needing to understand technical creators. No, absolutely, Soda, absolutely. Yeah, it's very difficult to get that balance between the two and understand in your mind what is necessary for both. So it's why they say artists and doctors actually both use the left side and right side of their brains, and that's something that not all professions do. But those are two fields that you have to be working with both the technical and the creative side of your brain at the same time, which is why it can be a little exhausting. But this was the first book she did, which was a poetry book. And now, hey there, Synth. Good to see you, man. I have a few people from my community here with me as well, because I do stream over on Twitch, but I will be getting to that afterwards, because that's not the first half of what I'm talking about. So you guys might see some people from my community in here as well. But this was the second book I did for Brittany as well. These books were poetry and based on a lot of self-discovery and understanding herself and the struggles and tribulations she went through. So a lot of what went here when it comes to taking commission work is you have to, talk to a person and understand and communicate clearly. Like, communication is so important when you're doing any type of work for someone, and I feel it's even more important in some ways when you're doing things from graphic design or art standpoint, because you have to talk to people, explain to people, and get them to understand what they want from you. And sometimes that can be difficult because sometimes people don't always have the clearest vision of what they want for their work, so sometimes it goes a little deeper into that. So we got that there, and then this was the other book cover I did. This one is probably my favorite to date. A little bit more of a fantasy creature approach going on. So hopefully you guys like that. This is the book series I was referring to that she's working on that actually has, much more story-driven and character narrative. I very much enjoyed doing it. She's taken more liking now to character art on the front cover, as I feel it's a better way to catch the reader's eye. That's another tool you can use if you're looking to get someone's attention. As they say, don't judge a book by its cover, but the truth is, we all do judge books by their covers. It may not be the whole thing, whether you're talking about it metaphorically or literally, but you do need to look at the cover of things and maybe make a quick assessment of it, and then hopefully that will invite you then to seek out more information on it and learn more about it and get more knowledgeable thereafter. So that's the best advice I'll give regarding all that stuff. I will close out the book cover related things a moment, and I'm actually going to hide this just a second, because now what I'm going to say is there are some other artworks that I do, because I am not only able to do graphic design, logos, and able to do book covers, which I would consider more the a lot more of the typical aspects you might think of when it comes to art. Things that are a bit more palatable and approachable to the general public. But there is another side to me, and the side that I wish to actually show with you guys is a little bit of a presentation. Excuse me there. I apologize for my allergies. What I'm going to show you guys next requires a little bit more presentation. So if you'll bear with me for a moment, I'm going to black out my webcam and I'm going to share the other side of me. As I said, I am Tony, but the reason why people also call me Shade is because my online artist handle name has been Shade Falcon pretty much since I was a teenager, and it's been the artist name that I go by, and I even feel a little more comfortable identifying as the name Shade than I even do Tony. I'm not opposed to either one, but Shade is often what I introduce myself as because I am first and foremost an artist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deactivate my webcam a quick moment, because in order for me to share with you all the other side of what I do, I have to have that deactivated. So we're going to open up a little program that I have, and I'm going to pull up this background. Just bear with me for one moment, guys. I appreciate your patience, because this is something that a lot of you guys might not be too familiar to. Also going to give a little warning about music volume, so hopefully this isn't too loud. Put that down a little bit. And okay. Yeah. So this is the other side of me and my work. And I'm glad you feel that way, Soda. I'm glad. In addition to being a graphic designer and a freelance artist of sorts, I am also a VTuber. Now, for those of you who don't know what a VTuber is, it is basically the terms virtual and YouTuber combined together. So that's what I am as well, a VTuber. I stream on Twitch.tv regularly. It's primarily a streaming platform for gamers, but has been expanded over the years to include content of all different kinds. I often stream gaming content, drawing my artwork over on Twitch, as well as sometimes I just have talks and discussions, video reaction content. We discuss a lot of different things. Now, I'm sure not a lot of you guys are very familiar to what a VTuber is, and this might be some new information, but I hope that you guys do like what I'm talking about here. So what I'm going to just do is show off. I am a 2D VTuber, so my model was hand-drawn. I did commission someone for this, even though this is based on my own character design and my own story background. That's where Shade comes from originally. I have a few different things. I can toggle facial expressions, so just to show a few things off to make the experience a bit more emotive. If I wanted to raise an eyebrow at something, be like, interesting. We have a toggle for anger. Angry Bird. Yes. Then after that, this one I tend to call despair, or it can be intimidation, surprise, anything like that. A little bit of a sad expression toggle. I want you to think of this mostly as like I'm using a puppet as a form of entertainment, a digital puppet as it were. I have a few other facial expressions, a more serious one. Then there's the more shocked one, like, And this whole thing is operated via motion tracking. So the reason I had to deactivate my webcam before is because my webcam is basically motion tracking me right now. So as I move my mouth, my beak moves. As I move my eyes and do this. Yeah, I do feel a little bit more confident with my VTuber, honestly. It's not to say that I don't feel confident showing my face, and I have no problem showing my face as well, Soda, but it is something that I much more enjoy. Like, doing the VTuber thing is definitely something that has given me a lot more confidence and everything, and I've always been comfortable speaking my mind and talking about topics, but it is a lot more enjoyable, I feel, to just focus on the work and the personality rather than having to have people, well, as I made before, the analogy, judging a book by its cover, right? When you see this, it's a little bit more entertaining or intriguing, and you can kind of focus more on the personality or whatever else the person is doing, as opposed to, being a little bit nervous, I guess you could say. But, yeah, a lot of that's there, and usually when I draw on my streams, I will toggle up this here. And if I move my my mouse around, or my pen on my tablet, then this stuff will move and it will motion track as if my hand is drawing. Thus to give the indication that my character is drawing as well. So those are some other toggles. There are other interactive ones that people can do on stream, but I'm not able to do that here. Twitch allows you to interact a little bit more with the streamer. It allows the audience to get some control there. So typically one thing that they could do aside from throwing objects at me is maybe they could give me a little head pat. So it's just a way to let your audience interact a bit more, or if I'm playing a game, I pull up this little controller toggle. I do have several more toggles coming on the way though, so there will be much more interactivity and things going on with my stream. Now, to get into the other types of content I do, as I said, aside from gaming or deep discussions and stuff, I am primarily an anime artist. Now, I've done a lot of comic book and Western style art since the time I was young, but as I got older, I got much more into anime. So, what I want to do is just show some examples of anime work that I have done, and what I do. I will keep this as safe for work as I can, because I have drawn some adult materials. Keep in mind, I am an artist, so that's going to leave you to draw multiple different things over time. But yeah, I'm going to show some examples here, and see what you all think. So, to start, I'm going to present something that I did a little while back, and I'll click on this, and I'll have to hide my face again, or my digital face. So, this would be a drawing I did of a character from a manga I very much enjoy. If I was try to zoom in a little bit more, actually, I think I can do it by clicking here. Yeah, yep, there we go. Zoom out a little bit, and yeah, we can move that around. This is a bit more of the cel-shaded style work that I've done over the years, and I was just trying to get more involved with perspective. It was one of my earliest attempts, probably about a year ago. So there is that. Now where's my mouse? Oh, there it is. Excuse me, guys. All right. After that, I will close out of that one because I want to make sure I show all the right ones. There's this one. If you're familiar with other animes, this is Panty and Stocking, a little bit more of a painterly style, but still somewhat of a cutesy and chibi aspect. You can find a lot of these things on my Instagram too. So that's an example there. Then if we go to some more painterly stuff, this is a well-known Japanese character. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. Like, this is a well-known Japanese character, otherwise known by the name of Hatsune Miku. She's basically like a digital idol, a Vocaloid, you know. Think of it like a singer, but purely a digital character. Somewhat similar to what I am, only this one would be purely operated by AI. So, that's an example of some other painterly type things I have done. I have a couple more to show that are a bit more interesting, and as well, I'll have a small demonstration as what I've done. This was my take. If anyone's a horror fan in the chat, I'm very much interested in the Saw franchise, and this was my take on Billy the Puppet, but drawn more as a anime girl, otherwise known as a gajinka, which is the practice of taking a inanimate object and personifying it to something of a bit more cutesy style. So this one was one of my paintings I did I was very fond of. I've been moving on to painting a lot more recently, and this was a drawing I completed literally just within the last week. I'm very proud of this, as this was a bit more of a painterly style that I have not tried or attempted. I even wowed quite a bit of my community and my friend group with it, so I know that I've learned a lot more, and I can say that when it comes to painting and shape, nothing helps more than when you can properly focus and see things clearly in the shapes when it comes to drawing and perspective, because one thing I will share as far as my health goes is I was diagnosed recently with ADD. And ADD made it very difficult to concentrate at times, focus, think clearly, see things in proper shapes and perspectives. So having been getting that medicated has certainly helped a lot. Now, the next thing I want to show here is actually going to be a small time lapse. And by time lapse, it's going to be 60 seconds displaying how I got to this point with the drawing. So I'm going to just play that real quick. I don't believe there's any sound, but I'm just going to play this a moment, and you can get a quick demonstration of typically how a drawing would work. Now, obviously, this is sped up 1,000 times faster, and I will show you the finished piece as well to get a good look at once it's done. The other one was Spy Family. Yes, Soda, it absolutely was. Good to see that good to see another anime fan is here with me. So I'm happy to see that you noticed that. Yeah, it was my take on if Anya was a little bit older. I mean, a few other people have done it as well too, but I really wanted to draw it. Now, for this one, as you can see, when it comes to drawing, there is something I'm going to point out, because sometimes people don't realize it. I'm going to pause it real quick. When it comes to drawing a character or a human body, you should always draw the character naked first, and then add the clothing on top, because if the body's form is not correct, the clothing is going to be messed up too. So if it's something that might embarrass you or make you a little uncomfortable, you do have to think outside of that particular thought process, so that you can carry through to finish the rest of it. So that's why you would see it drawn the way it was. But yeah, now that's just the rest of the piece, and this took me about a day just to get the sketch done. I still have to finish the full thing and properly clean it up and paint it and everything, but I wanted to show an example of the process of what it takes to actually draw something like this. And this goes for anything, including the book covers that I have done as well. It's all about the process and how to actually get through it and see basically how the sausage is made, if you will. And now if I were to show an example of it, this is what it looked like when it was done, so you can actually see the finished sketch frame. But yeah, bottom line, this is a lot of what I do. Hey Flair, good to see you as well. And I just wanted to present all of that and just show everybody what I'm about and what I actually make and create. I mean, I will honestly say at this point, if anybody does have any questions or comments, I'm more than happy to answer them and talk about them. I do feel like I have explained a lot about, you know, who I am, what I do, and that there are obviously two sides to me. But yeah, I mean, this is the side that I tend to go with a lot more often. And like I said, I know a lot of people might not be too familiar with it, but yeah. Bottom line, as far as my journey goes, yeah, it's just been something I've been doing since I'm younger. I've always been very interested in artwork and promoting things and moving along and creative stuff, and I very much like to help people. I enjoy teaching people things. So if you are an artist or a designer of any kind and you wish to reach out to me or you wish to talk to me, you can certainly feel free. I'm happy to speak to anyone about anything, or even if you're just looking for someone who can provide you a service for what you would actually want done for your business. I'm more than happy to discuss terms and help out in any way I can. I'm honestly not too sure if there are anything else to cover or go over for who I am and what I'm about or what I do, and I feel like I've provided a good amount of insight that could be helpful to others. But if there's any comments or questions in the chat from those of you who don't know who I am, because I have quite a few people I see in chat right now who are already friends and fans and viewers of mine, but do a live sometime together? No, Soda, I would be happy to. Would you want to do it over on YouTube or Twitch or something like that? Oh, you have a lot of questions? Yeah, sure, definitely. I mean, if you want to save that for the live that we can do together, I mean, I'm pretty sure we still have each other over on Discord, so if you would like to speak about that and discuss things further, I am more than happy. YouTube? Perfect. Okay. Feel free to hit me up on Discord then. Or even if you want to DM me on here, I mean, I'll say Discord's probably a bit easier to get a hold of me, but yeah, we can definitely discuss, and I would be happy to do a live sometime. I mean, you know, I may stream on my end from Twitch, of course, but I mean, I'm more than happy to have that done. That would be a lot of fun. I always enjoy collaborating with other artists. I have a few collabs coming up myself, and even if you're not an artist and if you would wish to do any work or collab with me or talk, I'm always open. I'm very much an open book, and I enjoy, you know, experiencing new things, getting to know new people, talk, and make connections. So, yeah. But I know I was told I have a good hour to go over everything. I'm not even sure if I actually need the full hour at this point, but if that's the case, like you know, before I do start getting indeed, Synth, indeed, that would be good. But before I do start getting ready to head off, is there anything that anybody else would like to talk about, or any questions that anyone would like to ask now? If there's something that maybe I might have missed, or an insight that I can provide, I'm happy to answer it and talk about it now while I'm still here. Feel free. Don't be shy. So I'll give it a minute, because I know Instagram has quite a delay when it comes to actually streaming compared to some of the other platforms I'm on. It's a bit of a longer delay than even what I was used to on Twitch or YouTube, honestly. Either that, or maybe it just feels like that. I'm not really sure. It might just feel like that. New experience for me as well, so yeah. Bit of a sweat drop. What's my favorite platform? Probably would be Twitch. But I also do enjoy another platform known as Pixel, which is a Pixzel. You can probably guess it's a bit of a pun on the word pixel, like Pixel. It's also an art streaming platform. Now, what I like about it is that you can also stream any type of art on it, from mature art to safe for work art. Twitch is a little bit more tame, so sometimes it can feel a little stifling as an artist to not be able to just create and draw whatever you want. But I do stream mostly on Twitch, and I'd say Twitch has probably become something I've gotten very comfortable with, very used to, so it probably would be the one that I use generally. I know you, but do you expect your career to have any changes down the line? I mean, honestly, like, I would like to get more involved with this community as well, Omega, and, you know, maybe handle a bit more things on the, I call it the business professional side, whereas I feel like what I do is more the business casual side. So I feel like my life is something that can blend into both realms and both areas comfortably, and that's something that I probably will continue to do. Do you have a hard time fitting into non-artsy communities? It depends. I feel like I'm very confident with speaking and talking to other people. I don't always, it's not always an initial impulse to want to go and speak in communities that are not primarily artsy related, or even nerdy or gaming related. I do prefer those communities more than anything else. But if I am in a position where I need to, or maybe want to, I am very comfortable flexing into it. If I can get psychological for a minute, I do have a lot of social anxiety. I am someone who also is an INFJ for personality type, and while I'm very introverted, I am capable of flexing into extroverted sensing. So it's something that isn't necessarily difficult for me, but or necessarily like hard to blend in. It just might be a little bit more exhausting for me by the time I'm actually done doing it, compared to someone maybe who is, you know, much more extroverted and comfortable being out in the open with a lot of people and all that, because I do like to socialize. I do enjoy being around people. Oh, interesting, Soda. Okay, I can relate completely. INFP with ADHD, absolutely. I understand completely. I have ADD myself, so I understand completely what you're saying, you know. It can be a little taxing at times. I had to learn how to get more comfortable with public speaking and get more comfortable being involved with people, so I completely understand the shyness and the hesitation or apprehension to get more involved, because when you are an artist, you are more likely to be more introverted and more quiet, or maybe even a little bit more shy, or maybe you just prefer to not be in the bigger social situations. Like, all of those are components depending on person to person or individual to individual. But yeah, I mean, I completely relate. That makes a lot of sense. No, I agree completely, Soda. I feel the same way, that it is a good idea to sometimes push yourself out of your comfort zone as an artist, and sometimes it can even give us more inspiration to create things and be able to work with other people and just grow ourselves, you know, both personally, professionally. And if you find the right people and you find good communities, and this is definitely a good community to be in, then you're going to end up, you know, being able to, you know, flex into those positions much more comfortably. It takes time, it takes practice, and it takes a lot of experience. You know, just a lot of that is very taxing initially, but it is still doable. It is very doable. So yeah, hopefully that is good answers. I do believe I have at least another like 15 minutes, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. So if there's anything else anybody else does want to talk about or say, I'm happy. Nah, no problem. I'm happy, Soda. I'm glad I could help you. So like, yeah, I got like at least another 10, 15 minutes. If everybody feels like they're good and there's nothing else that wishes to be asked or talked about, then, you know, I can go ahead and end the stream off if that's the case. But I'll give it a second first, just to be sure, if there's anything anybody wants to ask or talk about or say before I do be on my way, before the bird flies the coop. So yeah. I will give that just a moment. Delays, am I right? Just give everybody a chance then before I make any final judgments there. Alright, well, I guess that's everything then. I guess we've kind of reached our conclusion. So what I'm going to end up doing now is I'm probably going to end up ending this live. I'm assuming this should go on over to the archive. I'll probably figure out how to share this publicly, and I hope you guys enjoyed talking with me. I certainly enjoyed talking with all of you. I appreciate anyone who had the time and the chance to actually tune in and watch and see what I'm all about and what we do here, and I look forward to more times in the future communicating and speaking with all of you. So thanks again so much, everybody, for coming out, from both new faces to familiar faces. Love y'all, and you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope you have a great week. Good night, everybody. It was a pleasure being here, and thank you again so much for the opportunity, both to my sister Sarah for asking me, and to Allegra as well for also asking that I be a part of this, and I hope you guys will be a part of the WIN community. You know, let's all win together. You have a great night, everybody. Take it easy.